everybody. Welcome. So we are getting started here right on time, 8 o'clock as promised. Thank you for coming here on a summer evening. It's so beautiful outside, and I am so excited to be here with my girlfriend, Wendy. So we met about 2 years ago, and real quick story. So we were in a local restaurant, and I walked past her table, and I knew the gentleman that she was with. I had known him for a number of years, but I saw this beautiful woman out of the corner of my eye, but the shyness overtook me. And if you know me, you know I'm not shy, but I don't know what that is, but I just was like, I just kind of froze and I just kept walking because I went to the washroom. And then on my way back, I thought, this is silly. Actually, I thought about it in the washroom. I thought, I need to say hello to that woman because she just looks amazing and I just need to say hello. So I stopped at the table and I introduced myself. And the gentleman that she was with, he introduced us, and we had this instantaneous connection. And so I'm just so excited, like that she's here tonight, and that we became girlfriends, and that our lives have continued to just cross paths. And I've seen her business, so we'll talk about that tonight, just boom and manifest all over the place. And when we started to talk, we realized we had so much in common in terms of mindset, in terms of language, outlook on life, outlook on our families. So I'm just really excited that she's here. So welcome, Wendy. Her title is that she is Regional Vice President for Arbonne. She wears many other hats as well. And if you're lucky enough to know her, you will be inspired by her leadership. And she leads a team of how many now? How many women do you lead?
I wish I should know the number, Deb, but I would say it's close to 1,000 at this point. Yeah, lots and lots.
Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Yeah. Amazing. So welcome. Is there anything that you want to say before I dig into the questions?
No, I just think I think it's so cool what you're doing here. I've never seen a platform like this, and I think if we're all going to grow and rise together, this is really cool, Deb, with what you're doing. You're serving so many people, and I just absolutely love this. And I'm so grateful to be on with you. So fun.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, lots of good times.
Absolutely. I love that you said rise, because as women, whether we're the one that's pulling up at the time or we're being pulled up, there's different times in our life that we all need to support each other to rise. And so, yeah, I'm glad you're here. So, okay, so I'm Debbi Sluys. I'm the owner of Dare to Declare. Anybody that's been following me on social media knows that I retired 2 weeks ago. And my energy and my vibration is like just loving life, having such an amazing time, and getting to I just had supper with a girlfriend, and then I get to chat with girlfriends. And so I just get to do my passion, which is just incredible. And you're going to hear Wendy's story as well, and how she also lives out her passion every single day. So, but one of my first questions is because I think I'm trying to think about one of our earlier lunch dates that we've been able to have. I remember you had your purse beside you. I think this is in the chill court. And all of a sudden you start taking out, like literally you're just taking out books. You had them in your purse. And you're like, you need to read this one. Have you read this one? Have you read this one? This is awesome. So I've just taken so many recommendations from you around book titles. So if you had to choose one, what is a must read for anyone that's watching if they're on this journey for self-discovery?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say, honestly, at the beginning, one of the major books that helped me out was a book called Broken Open. And it was during a time in my life where I really was broken open. And it talked about this phoenix process. So a phoenix is a big, big bird, you guys, like, oh, big, huge bird. And it's really like getting your wings and flying. And I was at this point in my life where I had just been separated. And I knew that I had to figure it out for myself. And that was definitely a defining book in my life. It's like, and I know like you have a religion background. It was like my Bible. It truly was. It was like sitting beside my bed. I read it every night. It spoke to me. And it really was about a woman who rose above the ashes, you guys, and just found her wings and flew. And I so envisioned that for my life. And that was probably 10 years ago that I read that book. And you know, you guys, if you ever get on my bank account, it will say, what's your favorite book? It will say Broken Open, because I absolutely
don't tell people that.
no, but I just love that
Oh,
book.
you're so funny.
I know, but I love that book. It was defining for me. So absolutely Broken Open. And it just really talks about a woman's experience, how she goes through the trials and tribulations of life, and how she soars. And how when you start the Phoenix process and you start to expand, you start to have real awareness of what's going on, you can't ever go back, right? So that's what I think resonated with me. So I love, love, love that book. So good.
Thank you. So that was your first one that you said made that impact when you were during that time in your life that you really needed. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. So, so you have 1,000 people that you're leading. So you must have 5, 10 times that in terms of customer base now that you're reaching. So is there a story that you can share of a customer that Arbonne or you and how you were able to show up with your service, something that just made something that they actually changed something in you? So you obviously probably gave them something, but in return, they actually were able to change you.
Absolutely. So, you know, I never saw myself doing anything like this. My background, you guys who don't know me, I was a helicopter nurse. I was a trauma room nurse. So my whole career was spent saving other people. And when I started the Arbonne business, it was so out of my wheelhouse, Deb. Well, you know the story because we've talked many times. That I remember thinking, this is something, how will this impact other people? And then I had a customer who ended up turning into so a lot of our customers are preferred customers, and then they are independent consultants. They shop from their own store. And the one girl that I can think about, she had a major impact in her life about a year ago. In fact, it was so crazy because she was just at my house tonight, and I was talking to her about that whole piece, and it totally impacted her life. And she now, you know, has this backup plan. So how Arbonne affected customer change consultant was it prepared her for impact. So we've just got through the craziest, I don't even know if I threw it, you guys, but the craziest time in our life, right? COVID. And some people are coming out feeling really disheveled, broken, beat up. And I'm coming out feeling great and thriving. And that's what this person that has turned into a independent consultant for me, said to me today is like, I had these tools in my back pocket and I used them during this time. And I saw the good in things. And so I think the biggest impact is just people really feeling good about themselves and living that holistic lifestyle where you feel good inside and outside. And that's what I saw tonight in this girl. She was like beaming, and that really like warms my heart. It's like, okay, I've done my job, right? Done my job.
Yeah.
So I would say that one.
Awesome. So you are a visionary like me. Wendy was one of the very first, again, when we first met, actually at that restaurant, I think it was only a week later, I was having a vision board and she didn't even hesitate. She didn't know me. She's like, sign me up. And I was like, I think it was my first, it was my very first workshop that I did. So I knew then that Wendy was a visionary. So thinking 10 years from now, what's the best version of yourself driving? So we can talk a bit about what you're driving right now, which was, I won't give it away. And where are you living? So location, house, who are you loving and having and making an impact? So that's a pretty full, big question.
Probably like question is Deb, right? Am I getting an echo? I don't know if I am. I think it might be.
It's a little breaking up, but that's okay.
Okay. So when Deb and I first met, I loved her energy right away, you guys. So I don't know if any of you guys have been to her vision board, but it's a must. It's like Disney, right? It was like Disney. And I jumped in because I wanted to have that first. I think part of it was, Deb, that I wanted to have that first. And I truly believe in vision. I'm a big visionary, right? So I truly believed in vision. So at Deb's vision boards, she made us feel so comfortable. We were the first, so it was like we were the rookies. We were the infancy stage, right, of your business. And I remember going back to the back and asking you, how is this? How is this? And the first thing she said to me, I'll never forget it, you guys. She said, you've got to feel it, right? And so I don't even know if you know this, Deb, but since
I don't. You've never told me this before.
You got to feel it. You got to feel it.
I still say that.
Yeah. So in my business, right? In my business, when you get to a certain level, you earn a Mercedes-Benz, right? And so I had to have a Mercedes-Benz on my vision board. So within months of doing that vision board, I had a Mercedes-Benz in my driveway, which was crazy. Remember, we were looking for the perfect dress for me to walk across the stage.
Green dress. I remember that.
Then, guys, I ended up wearing this beautiful green dress, right? So it was all of that. It was just having that vision about what you wanted in your life. So 10 years down the line, it's interesting. It's interesting that this question has come up because I've really actually thought about this lately. And it's a beach house or a lake house. It's at a time in my life where I feel so, like, I want to say zen, right? Like, so really chilled out. My business is booming. Life is good. I am traveling with my kids, making childhood memories in their adult lives. That's part of it. So I honestly think that that whole piece and having exposure to Dare to Declare got me thinking about 10 years from now, way back when. And so that vision has been brewing for a long, long time. And now it's actually on paper. Now I've got it down. And I honestly, Deb, I thank you so much because when you said to me, what do you really feel? Right? So what I know for sure is that visions don't come unless you feel them. And so you taught me that way back. I remember being in that first class with you and just feeling that connection. And we've been good friends ever since that. You have that light with somebody and you share that light with somebody, and she shared with me that day and let me be me. And yeah, it's just been, yeah. So 10 years from now is, it's like infinite. I guess that's how I describe it. It really is. Anything is possible in your life. And now I chase those dreams with, it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? I keep asking myself, what's next? What's next? So, and the vision board so helped me do that, right? I still have it up in my bedroom, by the way.
Awesome. But it appears to me that you're also having so much fun.
Oh my God.
So yes, you're hustling, but I see you loving, like just cherishing the relationships you're building. And I love that you are a continual learner. Like when I talk to Wendy and we're like, okay, so like we're trying to figure out even tonight, like how can we like match up our schedules? This lady is up at like 5 a.m. in master classes. She is learning. I think you were part of 2 master classes, and that's just for her own learning. Coaches need coaches.
Yes.
And then in addition, she's coaching others, and then she's into her business. So it's just, but yes, you are working hard. I don't like to use the word busy, but it always seems like you are just super excited about what you're doing as well, which isn't that the epitome of joy and accomplishment and satisfaction and what we really want for our life?
100%. It's like, the word that keeps coming to mind is service, right? Like you want to be the best servant leader. You want to show people the way to more. And that doesn't mean monetary more, right? For me, it does not. It means like more living, more life, more happiness, more joy, all of that stuff. And yes, I do have a regimented routine 100%. I'm in an inner circle. I do study every morning with people. And that expands me. So you're right. Coaches need coaches, Deb. And we've talked about this because you and I have always expanded ourselves out of the norm. And to me, that's like, I feel like when I'm the best version of myself, I can give the best version of myself. And so I'm always working on me. I'm a work in progress, right? I'm a work in progress. So yeah, I will always continue to do that. I will always continue to expand my mindset, always continue to expand other people's and make that impact, right? So, and that's how we as women, we rise together, right? That's all part of it.
And we have some women on the chat. I see that Darlene is here, and Nicole. I know that's her little nickname there is Indiana, but it's Nicole. And Christina. Christina said, Deb somehow pulled things out of me that I didn't even know I wanted until I did the workshop. And that was the flow retreat. And actually Nicole was there too. And she said, flow is transformative. And Nicole says, to your point, Wendy, I think she said, leaders make leaders. So,
and to be a leader, I wanted to make this point because it's so important. Because when I first met Deb, I did not know Deb, right? And I had not really been in that position where I had to follow Deb. I don't know if I've ever told you this because you and I have been friends for a long time.
Oh, you're telling me all these new things live on Facebook.
So followers follow, like they follow leaders. So you have to be a follower before you can be a leader. And what I learned from Deb was that you have to be you. And the one thing I will say about you, Deb, when I first went into your workshop, you were so you like made me feel so comfortable. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know what I wanted. And she tweaked that in me. It's like, what do you really want? How do you want to feel that day when you walk across the stage or the car or whatever? That's what comes with my business. But you made me feel so comfortable that day about talking about that. So to this day, I take that forward with my team. I really do. So it's like, it really has.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to send you some roses after this. This is so, make me feel like $1,000,000. Okay. What's the one thing your business did for a customer? So this maybe goes back to the other question I asked you about a customer, but something that you did for a customer that you didn't expect. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that came up for you that you were like, wow?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I do this whole nutrition thing, and I'm all like, so my background was nursing. I was always into health and wellness, and then a business with health and wellness. I had a couple of customers. I had one in particular that lost, I think, 40 pounds on her 30 days to healthy living. And that made, yeah. So I think the biggest impact I've had is really just showing people that they can own themselves, right? Like you can be and have and do anything you want, but it starts with your health. So I think for me, it was just really impacting how somebody saw themselves. So not only their self-image, right? Self-image has so much to do with it, but also how they really embraced the journey of this is going to take a little bit of time, but I'm so worth it, right? And so really impacting people that way. So when she had the success with it, it was like the evidence that other people needed to know, right? The evidence to be that light.
Yeah.
And to this day, that particular customer has continued to stay on her health journey. And she ended up actually being like a big advocate for me and continues to be that way. So I think the biggest thing was just paying it forward, really showing others that if I can do it, you can do it. You know, that's what she did for me.
It makes me think about something I've been, I just heard about in this last little bit is around how our actions impact our beliefs. So I always thought that our beliefs impacted our actions, which they do, mm-hmm. right? But especially, like, I always thought that from a religious standpoint, for example, like what I believe impacts my actions. Right. But when I start to, when you, like exactly with your customer, when you see the results, when you see that I actually can be healthy, I actually, like it changes those limiting beliefs that says, I'm always going to be heavy, I'm overweight, runs in my family, like whatever those kinds of things that come up for you, that you can actually shift that belief system, and that because you can see the action and how they impact your beliefs. And so it just made me think about that.
Yeah, and it can be different, right? It can be different, and really adapting that in your mindset really did it for her. I remember that. She called me and she was like, I'm down 20 pounds and I feel so good. And I'm like, you know, how, like, so she felt good. And I remember saying to her, when you look in the mirror, what do you see?
Mm.
Yeah. And so there's always that self-image thing, because you can't, you guys, if you get anything out of this call, remember this, you can't outperform your self-image. What do you think? Like, it's not the vision that we see in the mirror, it's what we hold inside. And she said, I feel good about myself. So that was the biggest impact, I think.
Awesome. Christina says, absolutely, mind and body are so connected. So she lives that mantra as well with her fitness journey. Actually, recently, Christina had a photo. I don't know if you saw it, Wendy, on Facebook. It was her with her arms spread out like this. I'm like, that should go on a canvas. It was so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Okay, so, this is another new word for me, is unstoppable. And when I think about you, and, you know, when I met you 2 years ago, and I think I told you too that I had just been to see Jack Canfield, and you're like, you had either met him, I can't remember the story, but you were just like, you just lit up. And every time I meet with you, you've got all these new things that are going on, and this just great positive energy. So what does unstoppable mean to you?
There's a couple things. The first thing that came to my mind is limitless. Limitless, right? I love that word because it means that we can do and have and be anything and be able to give more. So that's what comes to mind initially. Unstoppable to me also means that I'm unshakable. I want you guys to think about that word, write it on this little sticky note. Should I go, I'm unshakable? So to me, that's been huge in my business, Deb. Like, when I feel that little tweak of, can I do this? I literally go to the mirror and go, I am unshakable. I'm unshakable. I can do this. I can do this. So limitless, unshakable. And when you're stuck, get unstuck. That's what it means. So unstoppable means I'm not stuck anymore. I can do anything that I choose to do. So I absolutely love that word. And it's, to me, it's infinite. It's like anything is possible in your life. And do not settle. 95% of people settle. Don't be that 95%. You know, that's what it means to me.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I love that. And thinking about where we are both fans of law of attraction, and you know, the action is embedded in the law of attraction. And so, you know, not just thinking like, oh, I'm just going to sit here, you know, and wait for things to fall into my arms, but that there is the action piece, which, you know, every word that you talked about, limitless, like all of those are action types of words where you're still acting on, whether it be inspired action or whether it be an obvious action, but you're moving forward versus just sort of standing still. So unstoppable has this feeling of action, of movement. Which yeah. What's your best tip for someone wanting to start their own business, whether it be in network marketing, direct sales, or entrepreneurial? What would be your best tip?
Dive in. Dive in, get your mascara running, like be full in on whatever you do, right? So it's really a decision. So when I think about anything that I've ever done in my life, it's been a committed decision. That means like there's no door, doing it until, versus a decision where I'm going to do it when it's convenient, right? So for me, it's like dive right into you. You're so worth it, right? You're so worth it, and the payoff will be big. It's just betting on yourself, putting the C on your shirt, being the captain of your life. You're the best player in your life, so stop benching the best player in your life. We as women tend to bet like bench the best player in our life. I just got off the bench. That's all I did, Deb. I really just started to play big. That's it.
So can you tell people a little bit about your story with that? I love when you said dive right in and being the captain.
Absolutely. So about, it's been 5 years now, but 5 years ago, I found myself in a spot where, so my background, you guys, is nursing. I was a helicopter nurse, a trauma room nurse, spent my entire life saving other people. And then about 5 years ago, I had to save my own life. I was a single mom. I have 3 kids. I was not getting child support, and I knew I had to get another income. And, you know, as a nurse, I jumped to another job, frankly. I actually took a job as the ICU supervisor. I'm educated out of the wazoo with nursing. But I realized quickly that I was trading time for money. And I was missing the best time of my life. And then this opportunity came, this Arbonne opportunity came to me. And I was like, I've got to take at least a look at this. And I actually dove in. I went into the pool. And I had no shiny resume, you know, no business background. And I jumped in. So when something happens and you're giving an opportunity, like, keep an open mind. That's all. Keep it, and you know, it may or may not be for you. And I remember thinking, I'm just going to keep an open mind. And it has 100% transformed my life, Deb, as you know. And so I tell everybody, like, whatever you do, bet on you. Bet on you, right? Bet on you. And I just bet on me that day. And that was almost 6 years ago. And I haven't nursed you guys for 5 years. I've just done this. So, and I've taken it now. My business is global. I'm actually I just started a whole brand new team in New Zealand. And wow. Oh yeah. So like, we're big, right? So it's really cool. It's really cool when you really expand yourself. And as you grow, others grow. So I always say when I first started, I think I started for reasons for myself. And now I continue to do it for reasons for others. So I keep raising the bar with myself because that's necessary so that my teammates can reach their big goals, right? You have to keep growing you. So no, it's been an incredible, I'm just like extremely grateful. And all the people that have come and gone in my business, they've all played something in my business. And I'm just extremely grateful for each and every one of them, right? Like I've met incredible people, lifers, honestly, that I'll have friends for life through this business. So I'm so grateful.
And what I know they tell me is that you're a phenomenal leader. And so, no, it's true. Wendy and I were able to do a speaking engagement together with another one of our colleagues, friends. And a lot of her team came also then to support her and just to do that because they're just so proud to be part of her team. And she truly is that leader, which is growing leaders, and which is phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
cool. What is a recent breakthrough? This is a vulnerable question. What's a recent breakthrough that you've had?
That's such a good question. I actually put some thought into this question, Deb. And, you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So for me, it's like really looking at your life and thinking about, you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I first started my personal growth journey, I gotta be honest, I love to sleep in. No one loves sleeping like I sleep in. And now I do get up at 5 o'clock every morning. And I realized that I was hitting the snooze button all the time. And I had to ask myself, where else am I hitting the snooze button in my life? So how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I just really switched that around in my life. And sorry, my dog's gonna bark here in a second. Jasper, sorry, it's real life.
That's okay.
And really, really being that heightened awareness of I'm in control of me. I can get up when I want to get up. I can have the life that I want to have. But if it's going to be, it's up to me, really. So I think that was really my heightened awareness, is that I was in control the whole time. And we can blame outside circumstances for you guys really, if you heard my life story, I really could have blamed outside circumstances. But the truth was, everything lies within me. And so my success that I have today lied within me. My difficulties before that lied with me, and I was in full control of it the entire time. So I think that awareness of, we really do control it all, Deb. So I think that was my biggest aha.
That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. It's really powerful. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah, that's been a recent aha for me as well. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Right.
And then my last question is, how do you celebrate? How do you celebrate you? How do you celebrate accomplishment? So I want to get specific. I want to say, how do you celebrate? I know how you celebrate other people's accomplishments because you are the hostess with the mostest. But how do you celebrate your accomplishments?
Oh, this is diving in deep, man. So I'm going to be authentic, real, and vulnerable here. I had a hard time celebrating me, right? I played small in my life. I hid in my life. So I had a lot of success and it went unnoticed, to be honest with you, because I don't talk about it that much. But I've realized that success comes with joy and happiness and sharing that with other people. And in the last probably year of my business, I've really learned to celebrate the little wins, celebrate the little things, and they add up to big things. And I've learned that that's so important for women in general. Like, we are the martyrs in life, right? We do everything, you guys, from our kids. If I was going down in a plane, I wouldn't put the oxygen on me. I'd put it on my kids. And now I've learned to put the oxygen on me. And so I think that as far as celebrating, I just think it's really about, saying yes to yourself and saying, good job, right? As women, we don't take that time to say good job to ourselves. And I have a team now of people that celebrate together. And we even get together every Monday to really join in our celebrations and say, good job, good job. And so I think that whole empowerment group together makes all the difference, Deb. And I've just learned to share it honestly, to say, okay, I'm not perfect. I'm imperfectly perfect, right? I'm not perfect. But those little wins, I'm going to celebrate them now. I'm going to show up for me. So I encourage my team to always show up for themselves and to say, well done when it is well done.
Excellent. Yeah, for sure. Darlene said that is a hard question when you are a person who doesn't like to be the center of attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? That's the piece, right? Like, it's so much easier to hide than it is to really show up. And I was the best girl at hide and seek, you guys. I was like, you want to play hide and seek with me because you're never going to find me, right? But here's the thing. Other people have to see you doing well, and they have to see that evidence. And so it's really up to us to shine. And don't be afraid to shine when it's in the authentic way, because it will be taken as that.
And you can show others what is also possible. So imagine, like, when I hear about your success, I get so excited, and you give me the gift to be able to say that to you, because if I don't know and I find out from someone else, I'm like, oh, why didn't she tell me? I would have wanted to give her a hug. I would have wanted, well, not during COVID, but I would have wanted to, say, congratulations. I would have wanted to just express that and celebrate that with her. So, you're taking away that gift of not having others be able to celebrate it with you as well, by not letting them know. And again, what's possible. So, and I know you've certainly done that with your team and let them know what's possible with your car and with all of the different levels of things that they can achieve. And you're just growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and now we're on the road to the highest level, Deb, and it's exciting, and it's never been done in this area. It's like fun to do. And I'm over the top for the people that are just like going for it. It's so much, I don't know, when you celebrate other people's success, it's so exciting. Like, I cannot wait to give the first Mercedes-Benz keys to somebody else. And it's so close, right? So that's going to be more exciting than me getting my own, to be honest with
you. I can see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Christina says too, that was me, so private, didn't want to be seen. And she said, it's a huge work in progress for me. So Thank you for sharing that, Christina. So I've come to the end of the questions. We're at the end. That half hour went gone. Yeah. I know, it's done. Is there anything that you want to add that I didn't ask you, or anything else that's still like sort of on the tip of your mind that you want to express?
I just want to thank you so much, Deb, for doing this for women. Like, it's I feel like we're coming out of the woodwork. Don't you feel that way? Like, it's like and once you're out, you're out. But like, you have really influenced my life in the last 2 years. I just absolutely adore you. I love everything that you're doing, and you're just making such a positive change for all of us. And I appreciate being asked on this call. It's really an honor, honestly. I just respect you so much. And it's, yeah, like I want you guys to know that this is just the beginning, I guess. This is just the beginning. And I would say our mission, right, Deb, is just to empower as many women as we can to be and do and have anything that you ever desired, so that you can give more to everybody. And that's really my message, is go for it. Don't hold back, right? Just go, right?
For sure, for sure.
All burners on. So.
For sure. Well, I know that if you were listening tonight, you were inspired as I have been here, and I can feel the energy. We're vibrating, girlfriend. Like, it feels so good. So thanks again so much, Wendy. I really appreciate it. So if you want to connect with her, what's the best way for them to reach out to you if they have questions about Arbonne or what?
Yeah.
Any just to reach out to you, ask you anything that you talked about?
Anything is good. Just connect with me on Facebook. I message. It's Wendy Holmes. I've got like my hands are up. You're like here, whoop, in my picture. And yeah, like we are here to help you. We are here to empower you. We are here to support you. And I'm locking arms with this lady all the way through life, because Deb's got it going. And I love your bigger vision, Deb. We've had lots of chats. I'm thinking like back. We've had lots of chats throughout the years in Chilled Cork and Mama Maria's and everywhere else. And look at you now. So
right in your kitchen, right there where you're sitting, right there, I think, or your living room there. Yeah.
Right. So it's just such a pleasure to see your success as well. And keep going on this, because people need this. And you're the light. You are the light, my friend. Okay.
Thank you, lady. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all you who are watching. There was about 6 or 7 of you that came on live. So thank you so much. And as Wendy said, you can reach out to her and connect with her through Facebook. With me, if you have any questions, dare2declare.com. And take care of you, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.